Thank you very much, Chair. There's a common theme to all four parts of the Green Amendment today. This is all about fairness and building for the future. We're proposing some really good ideas that better support a new generation of housing co-ops and community-led homes, that value and invest in our young people, that do more to create essential new jobs from new energy sources, and that look after all generations by cutting funds from a dinosaur of a road building project in order to invest more sensibly in making our streets accessible and healthy for all. The first part of our amendment is about improving the GLA's capacity to support community-led housing. It would help create new homes that people genuinely can afford, that stay affordable and stay community owned. As I've discussed in this chamber with the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and the Housing Minister, co-ops, community land trusts and co-housing are a tiny part of the housing market at the moment, but have great potential to make a difference as we seek to change and improve that market. They would help deliver the Mayor's housing strategy by getting more homes built more quickly, making use of empty homes by working with communities, and by taking on the tricky small sites on the public land that's earmarked for homes across the city. The Mayor has spoken enthusiastically about these new models, and I'm pleased to see that there is a new £1 million budget line for community homes support in the draft budget. However, there are two reasons to double this budget, as our amendment proposes. The first is the need to spread the enthusiasm for these new ways of creating homes to a more diverse range of Londoners. Cooperative housing is perfect for supporting key workers. The kinds of people who go into public service already have the ethos of working together with others, and yet we don't currently see many proposals for community-led housing coming from these workers. We mainly see the kind of self-starters who, for whatever reason, already have experience in house building or planning or working cooperatively. Therefore, one task for the new funding would be to go into public workplaces and community halls and help more Londoners from all backgrounds learn about how co-ops work and how together they can get started on their own ideas. The second reason is that since the draft budget was published, the government has announced on the 23rd of December that part of its £60 million community housing fund will come to London boroughs. Originally, this fund, announced in the previous Chancellor's budget, was intended only for rural and coastal areas with lots of second homes. It's good that the government has recognised that London needs help too, but it has first of all split the £2.3 million intended for London between almost all of the boroughs. And second, the government has only released half the money and given a very short time frame for boroughs to lay out their plans in order to release the rest for this year. This is an important issue and means that the Mayor shouldn't wait, as he said earlier today, until the end of his estate regeneration consultation in March before putting more resources behind the boroughs on this. And in any case, these are actually quite separate issues. There's no conflict in pushing ahead with this now. By boosting the community-led homes budget and ensuring the GLA provides a hub to coordinate this fund in London, the Mayor can not only help his own team build up more expertise in this new area of housing, but he can also reassure the government that if the rest of the funding is released, it will be spent well in London. With Lib Dems helping to pioneer this hub approach in Cornwall, with a strong cooperative element to the plans, as well as support for a government policy, I think this idea should appeal to all parties in this chamber, and I hope you will back us on this. The second part of our amendment is about helping the youth services that are being cut back right across London. My report last week found that councils are struggling to cope and cutting back dramatically on youth services in the city. Since 2011, I found, on average, more than a third of budgets cut, and across London, more than 30 youth centres closed and nearly 300 youth workers out of a job. The Mayor can and should do something about this. He hasn't increased council tax as much as he could, and we could really help young people with an extra £1.49 a year from the average Londoner on top of the increase the Mayor has proposed. This is such a small amount to ask for, less than the cost of a bus trip a year, but these small amounts add up, and the good this could do for young people across London is huge. By raising £4.3 million this year, our change would offset all the planned cuts I've identified so far in council budgets for next year. It would help to preserve these services, and it would fulfil the policy that young people themselves have told the Mayor they want most from his administration. I hope that whatever happens to our amendment today, the Mayor will, as he sort of said he would earlier, listen to young people, read our amendment and step up to help our youth services survive. The third part of our amendment is about increasing support for the Mayor's energy company, which isn't so far getting anything like the investment other UK cities have put into similar projects. The extra funding we propose there will show the faith we have in this new industry to support the future of Londoners as well as of the planet. Forbes reports this month that in America, since 2013, solar energy installations on their own have created more jobs than oil and gas pipeline construction and oil and natural gas extraction combined. London and the Mayor need to get on with a quicker renewables transition for London, and we want to help with our proposals. And the final part of our amendment is about transport investment, and this is also about the future and about fairness. The last time a road crossing was proposed in East London, the planning inspector concluded that no evidence was provided that it would do anything to help the economic situation of the people living around it. It would increase air pollution and traffic for these people, and the inspector said the evidence is that it would be likely to be associated with an increase in deprivation. The Silvertown proposal needs to be scrapped because it would undermine all the good work the Mayor is trying to do on car dependency. We know that what really helps people and communities to flourish is to invest in making it easier to get around by foot, by bike and on public transport, and to study not what new crossings cars need, but what transport investment the people in that area now and in the future need to help them get into and around London. More investment in healthy streets projects and a study into the real transport needs of East London are what our amendment proposes, instead of a new road that would just create new traffic. Assembly Member Russell will second the motion and tell you more about the benefits to London of these last two parts of our amendment. We both hope the Assembly will back these small but significant changes to the budget, and we hope the Mayor is listening and that he will take our ideas up, as he has done with quite a few other parts of our manifesto since he was elected. We know that people will happily pay slightly more in tax when they can see that the results are going to vital local services. And everyone can see that young people in London need more support from our city if they are going to thrive. These ideas come from what Londoners and campaigners are asking the Mayor for already. Londoners who are working collectively to build or run their own housing, generate their own electricity, improve their streets or save the youth services upon which they depend. We are putting forward these ideas in the spirit of all the work we do here as an Assembly, in the positive hope that they are useful ideas that will help Londoners and ideas that could be taken up by any and all parties here. So I hope you will support this amendment today.
Thank you very much.